Hey, everybody. This is Dimensions of the Supernatural. I am Maureen Grudzinski, and I'm here with my amazing co-host, Anthony Simonelli, otherwise known as...
Just forget about it. How you doing tonight?
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with another fantastic guest. We're here with John Curley. So we're going to bring him on now, and he can tell us a little bit about himself. Hi, John. How you doing?
Hey, Maureen. Hey, what's up, Anthony?
You doing, man? How
What's
you
going
doing?
on? Having this supernatural sit down over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's a great name for another show.
I know, right? With the supernatural sit down, right?
to sit down. Hey, we can discuss it at the sit down. You know, we got another guy there, another guy,
And another guy.
and
We know a guy.
Paranormal stuff. You know what I'm saying?
You know it. Bada bing, bada boop.
So, John, we have a really great comment section, and we will let you know if there are any questions for you. They do like to ask questions.
Sure.
Hello, Chris. Hello, Bobby. Hello, Ron. They are saying hello to you. Do you know Ron?
Hello, Ron.
ERRT owner Ron.
No, I don't.
So we're going to get down.
You on that show not too long ago? Chris Olgood.
Oh,
And
right,
you
right,
always
Chris.
so paranormal?
Yeah,
Yeah, you on that show not too long ago.
Yeah, yep.
I was looking, look at some of their past shows. Like, hey, he's on there too. Hey, he's gonna be on tonight.
Yeah,
It's a really
show.
great show. Everything's always about just pure evidence, and they like to prove or disprove.
Yeah, I've been on there a couple of times. Pretty cool. I love it. I love those guys. They're cool.
Yeah, they're great people. We love them. So what would you like to talk about first?
Just talk about how you got into it. Like, the normal questions.
Start from the beginning?
Start at the beginning. I was born 7 pounds, 8 ounces.
7-Eleven.
7-Eleven, really?
Yeah.
Mine's 721, so we're close.
Yeah, I was brought up grew up in Baltimore, Maryland. So inner city Baltimore. And, I say Baltimore. I don't say Baltimore. So you just get that Baltimore slang accent, whatever you want to call it. Baltimore.
You're from Maryland.
Yeah, from Maryland. So. But yeah, just a little inner city neighborhood. It's an old town. Hamden. I grew up in Hamden, so Hamden used to be a mill town. So a lot of these houses are really old. They date back. Some of them are hundreds of years old. So. There's a lot of paranormal things that go on these old row houses and things like that we lived in. So, but I got my start, but I seen a UFO when I was like 15 years old.
Wow.
And that kind of jump started me into like reading books on UFOs and watching stuff like In Search of with like Leonard Nimoy and That's Incredible, things like that. And, I love those shows in the 80s, and it carried on my whole life, and just reading books. And there wasn't a whole lot of paranormal shows back then. Like I said, talking about ghosts was kind of taboo. No one talked about ghosts. Yeah. It was like something that was, if the family was around the table and somebody might have brought it up, but other than that, nobody really talked about your house being haunted or things like that. And after I seen that UFO, it was a kind of life-changing event for me. I don't know about anybody else that's ever seen one of those. But, it was pretty incredible.
All three of us.
It was incredible. Yeah. I seen it. I was like, wow. I'm like, that definitely wasn't from here. It's just like it's moved way too fast for anything conventional that we have. It was out of sight in less than a second from a sit still. And I'm like, wow. If I would have took my eyes, like moved it this way and then looked back, it would have been, I would have never seen it. But I actually watched it take off, and I was like illuminated, like real bright. And then
was it coming out of like a mountain area or a flatland, or water?
I was in the middle of Baltimore. In the middle of Baltimore City. I was just walking down the street, and there was this bright blue incandescent light above this big oak tree, and it was kind of just like going in and out like this. And I'm watching it as I'm walking, and I'm like, what the hell is that thing? And all of a sudden it got real bright. And I was walking with my cousin, and I reached over. I was like, hey, look at this. And when I pointed at it, it just got really bright, and then just went, and it was just gone like hundreds of thousands, thousands of miles in like less than a second. I'm like, wow, that was some Star Wars stuff right there, man. Like, that was a UFO. And I said, did you see it? He's like, I didn't see it. I'm like, oh my God, dude, you gotta be kidding. You didn't see that? He's like, nope, I didn't see it. I'm like, you missed something pretty amazing, dude. That was awesome. And that was it.
Was it round? It was just a light, or was it round, or was it a shape, or was it solid?
It was up pretty high, a couple thousand feet in the air, and I couldn't see a craft. It was just this bright incandescent light, and it was just sitting still, kind of just pulsing in and out with this blue, really brilliant blue light. And that thing got really bright, and then it made no sound too. It just took off. I was like, wow. Amazing. One of the most amazing things I've ever seen. Besides,
have you seen anything since, or just one time? And
I've seen some weird things. I don't know if they were UFOs or what, but I've definitely seen some stranger things. I can't explain what they were, but I've seen something with my daughter one time, and right in front of my house, it illuminated orange real quick, and then it was gone. And I'm like, what the hell was that? And my daughter goes, what was that? I was like, she's seen it in a reflection of the window, but I happened to catch it out of the corner of my eye where my neighbor's house was, above where my neighbor's house was. I'm like, what the hell was that? She said, I don't know. I seen it out of the window, but it kind of got real bright like the sun, and then went, and it was just gone. I'm like, I don't know what that was.
That's wild. And because a lot of times people that see UFOs, it does change their life.
Oh yeah.
They all of a sudden they just change their life. Anything with UFO wise, or maybe alien, you see an alien or something, gray or whatever, it changed your life. It's like, wow, we're not the only things in this universe,
Yeah, what's weird about the neighborhood I grew up in, it's not like it's the first time someone's seen a UFO in my neighborhood. My father actually seen 2 in that neighborhood, because he grew up in the same neighborhood. And one, he seen one when he was a kid, when he was like 12 or 13 years old, going above it was above the row houses, and he said it was kind of going from like house to house and stopping, almost like it was scanning the roof or something, like scanning in the house. He said he followed it up the street, and when it got to the end, it just disappeared. He's like, I don't know where it went. He said it was about the size of like a Volkswagen Bug, but it was like a disc, and it made no noise, but it was just going from like house to house. And what's really weird is when I was younger, we had experienced something in our apartment. We lived in a row house, but we lived on the top floor, and I was around 5 or 6, I think. I faintly remember it happening, but my dad woke us up, and there was this vibration in the house. Like, the house was vibrating, like this low vibration, and the whole alley and the out back was lit up like daytime. And my father was looking out the window. He goes, it's above the roof. It's above the roof. And my mother goes, what is it? He's like, get away from the window. He wouldn't let us near the window. And he's trying to see. He said, it's above the roof. And it wasn't. He said, it's not a helicopter. I don't know what it is. And when he said that, everything went shoop, and it just was gone. The light was gone. The vibration was gone.
That's weird. Because my experience too, I had when I was about, I don't know, it was back early 70s. Must have been about maybe 13, 14, 15, maybe even younger. I remember going down the block, because we had was it Avenue, like we had Myrtle Avenue going this way, and my street shot up from Myrtle Avenue, and at the end of my corner was like another avenue, Cooper Avenue, and then there's a cemetery there. I grew up in a place called Glendale, surrounded by cemeteries, 9 cemeteries. That's how I got to the paranormal, pretty much. But it was weird because I went down the block, and I got Italian ice. Went to the pizza place, got Italian ice, and walking out, little fat kid with Italian ice, got cherry terry, walking out, and my friends, back in the 70s, nobody had air conditioner in my neighborhood. Everybody sat on the stoop. You know what a stoop is?
Oh yeah, we had them in our neighborhood. We sat on the stoop.
See, you understand stoop. All right. When I moved to Jersey, I said stoop. They go, what's a stoop? It's just stairs in front of your house.
Steps.
What do you?
That's it.
The steps. No, it's stoop.
Yeah.
So everybody hung out on the stoop, or they brought their chairs out. The old people.
Yeah.
So I'm coming out of the pizza place, and the pizza place, where it is on the corner, overlooks my block. So I'm standing, walking. I'm about to cross the street to go to my block, and I see a light just up high. I thought it might have been a helicopter, but there was no sound. Going slowly up my block, and then all of a sudden, when I got to the end of the block, disappearing into the cemetery. And I was, whoa, I go running up the block, and it was like, people like, wow, what was that? We don't know. Okay. Everybody was like amazed. Then all of a sudden, the next day, we started talking about, like, what the hell was that? You know, it just scanned up the block. Nobody remembered it. Anybody got hit with that light did not remember that light. My brother at the time came out of the house, and he didn't get hit with the light. He remembered. My brother remembered seeing it. He was all the way up the block on me, but this light just scanned the block, and nobody remembered it. Right after it happened, everybody's like, "What was that?" Well, you know, and people go, "Oh, it's a helicopter," but you don't hear nothing.
Yeah, you know? You're gonna hear a helicopter.
Yeah, I mean, you can hear a helicopter, especially with that light. It just came down, and it was the whole block as we got up. And it's a wide block. It's not like, it's a wide block, and got both sides going up. And everybody, sitting out there was like amazed. But then the next day, nobody remembered it. It was, It's like, and I never really talked about it to, pretty much recently when I started going to the UFO museum out in Pine Bush. And I went out there a couple of times with the UFO stuff. Then I started talking to them about it. But I really never brought it up again, at that point, because back then in the 70s, you couldn't even talk about paranormal. And now you're talking about UFOs.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely have a straight jacket, getting some electric charges. I know Ron Yakovitti's on right now. He's going to make a comment about that.
Hey, Ron, what's going on, buddy?
He's going to make a comment about me getting electrical charges in my head.
John, Chris Allgood wants to know, what is your greatest paranormal experience as an investigator?
Oh, wow. I've had a lot.
There's so many when you investigate like that it's hard to say what the best is.
Probably the most.
What do you remember the most when you think about paranormal?
Oh, man.
What's just the one you think of the first?
Well, when I was at Landon House, I used to run a plantation. It was a Civil War plantation called Landon House. And I believe Ron and Chris played a couple of our clips, the whistling clips from the Landon House. Well, I seen a shadow figure there one time, like maybe 7 feet away from me, 8 feet away from me. I was the last person in the mansion, and I would always close up at night. So, if we were doing an investigation, everyone would leave. I'd be the last one, make sure everything's locked up. And it's around 4:30 in the morning. Everybody's gone. I'm the last one. I'm making sure everything's locked up. I walk out onto the front porch. They had a long front porch. Probably the mansion was probably 130 feet long, and it had two sets of doors, one at one end and one at the other end. The other end was a parlor. That's where they used to lay out people that had passed away and things like that. It had the old sliding doors in it and stuff, and the old slide doors. Really old place. This place was built in 1754. So when I stepped out onto the porch, I just happened to look down, and there was sitting at the window. It looked like a person at first, and then I'm looking, and I'm like, who the hell is that? And it's not a person. It's just a shadow of a person just standing there, almost like it was looking in the window. It didn't know I came out, I don't think, because it looked like it was looking in the window. And when I stepped on one of the boards on the deck, the board creaked. And when it creaked, the figure turned like this, and it was looking right at me. And I'm like, wow. holy shit. You know, I'm like, whoa.
Is it
And I'm
active?
like, yeah, it was looking right at me, but it didn't have a face. It didn't have any form. It was just, it just looked like a silhouette, almost like a target.
Mhm.
And I could almost see what it looked like, smoke inside of it, like turning. And I'm like, oh my
Oh, wow.
God, you know, a lot of people will say, you know, I would have ran right at it. No, you wouldn't have. You know, because I was just like frozen in time. You know, I was just like, couldn't believe what I'm seeing. You know, I'm like,
Mhm.
oh my God, dude, like I'm seeing this. What the hell is this thing? It's looking at me. I'm looking at it. And all of a sudden it goes the other way really fast. And when it took off, it left like a vapor trail or something, like some kind of mist behind
Oh,
it. And
wow.
it went through the railing of the porch and down to the ground. And I'm just standing there like, what the hell did I just see? And I walked down to the other end and I'm looking where it went. And I'm like, I don't know where it went. So I come out to the porch and I go down to the grounds and I walk around the grounds. It was just gone. But it was an amazing thing to see. I was like, wow,
Wow,
if I
that's
could have had
interesting.
this on video, if I could have just had that on video, but I wasn't thinking, and I'm going home. You know, I'm just like not even thinking of a camera or I just was in shock when I seen it because it was the first time I'd ever seen something like that. You know, and I was
Yeah,
like, oh my
that's
God,
interesting
you
because
know,
it left a trail as it left. So it
yeah,
wasn't
it's
really
like
like a
smoke.
shadow. It was more like a mist that formed
Yeah,
into something, like a
yep,
black smoke or something that formed into something. And when it left that trail.
yeah. It was
If it
like
was
like
a
a
shadow,
cloud.
it would never left a
Yep,
trail.
like a cloud
So,
almost. You know, like a
That's
mist or
wild.
something.
I never seen
Yeah,
anything like that. That's
yeah.
it was crazy.
And
I'm like, wow.
And Jenny said that the fact that it was aware of you makes it scarier. But Ufi is asking a two-part question. What if it couldn't see you, but could only hear the sound you made or only your shadow?
Yeah, it's possible. I know when I made the noise on the porch, it turned like it heard the noise and that's a direct kind of intelligence, you know what I mean? Like
mhm.
it turned and it was looked like it was looking right at me, but it had no features. It didn't have eyes, it didn't have anything. It was just blank. But it looked like things turning inside of like smoke, like clouds almost or something inside of it. It was the
Oh,
strangest thing I've ever seen. Yeah.
So was it more like like shadowy and misty, or was it more like liquidy?
It was more like clouds or something, like mist or
like
something.
yeah,
Yeah.
like smoke or
That,
something like that. That was
but
cool.
it was mist that was so solid you couldn't see through it. You know what I mean? Like it was condensed into this like cloud or something. I don't know how to even describe it. It's just so weird.
So it was like a black smoke. He was
Yeah.
going. Was there any
Yep.
fires ever in that place? Has anybody ever perished in a fire or something? Or
No, no, it was originally in Virginia and they disassembled it. It was on the Rappahannock River in Virginia, and they disassembled it and brought it to Frederick, Maryland, and they put it back together in Urbana where it sits today. And it was there's no fire. If there's ever been a fire there, but it was part of the Battle of Antietam. There was a field hospital for the Civil War for the Battle of
yeah,
Antietam. Afterwards, the Confederates occupied it before the battle, and then when the battle was over, the Union occupied it. But there's still Civil War drawings on the walls in there. The soldiers drew on the walls, and they drew a picture of Jeff Davis, and then uh, the Union soldiers seen what the Confederates were drawing, and then they came in and drew a picture of Abraham Lincoln. Then they all signed it, the 155th Pennsylvania Volunteers, which is out of Pittsburgh, and all their names are on that wall from the battle, right before
That's
the battle
wow.
and after. Yeah, it's a very cool place, very haunted. Probably one of the most haunted places I've ever been in. I've been in a lot of them.
So this might be a really dumb question. All right, so first I'll start with Chris Allgoods and then I'll make the statement. Was that more impactful than your first experience, or better question, have your experiences since been more impactful than the first UFO experience that you had?
All the experiences since have been more impactful. I mean, the seeing
So
the
they're like
UFO
building
was,
off of each other.
yeah, seeing the UFO was kind of the start of, hey, there's definitely things out here that aren't normal. and there's other life elsewhere, which led me into paranormal things. But the experiences I've had since I've been doing this outweigh that by a whole lot, you know.
So here's what I'm thinking. That thing, whatever it is, because it was taken apart, and it was taken apart where?
In Virginia, and on the Rappahannock, it was
okay.
It was
and
on the
that was
Rappahannock
during
River.
the Civil War, right?
Yeah, before the Civil War.
Put back together where?
In Urbana, Maryland, and Frederick.
Could it be a possibility? And could it have been like the smoke of cannons that made this thing?
Well, the war didn't happen. The battle didn't happen there. The battle happened in Antietam, which is some miles away. But there were people that were brought back to there that were probably lost limbs, because we did find human bones on the property. They were digging a trench for lighting, outside lighting, and one of my friends found a leg bone, and he's like, dude, he pulls it up. He goes, what is this? I'm like, dude, that's a leg bone, because it had the big knuckle on the top. And I'm like, dude, that's a leg bone. And he's like, you think so? I'm like, I can almost guarantee you that's a leg bone. And he took it. And I'll tell you what, he had all kinds of bad mojo when he took that bone. Really weird
locations. Oh, wow.
Really bad stuff happened to him. And in 1 week, he had so much bad stuff happen to him. He was leaving. He went home, and he raised dogs and showed them. He was with the people to go around and show dogs and stuff for the AKC and all that. He had 2 Dobermans, and he had smaller dogs, like little terriers. And the 2 dogs attacked the small terrier and tore it to pieces. There was nothing left of it. This is all and these dogs lived with each other for years, and they attacked the dog and tore it to pieces and ate it. They ate the dog, and they had to get rid of the dogs. They got rid of the 2 Dobermans, and his transmission went up in his car. This is all in 1 week's time. His transmission goes up in his car. The guy who's fixing his transmission lends him his brand new Corvette. He's driving the Corvette down the street. The hood flies up, breaks the front window. He almost crashes. Then a couple of days later, before he got rid of the dogs, the 2 dogs got into a fight and attacked him, tore his hand all up. His hand was like torn to shreds. I'm like, this is all in 1 week time. And then he takes the bone to like his veterinarian, because he had to have one of the dogs put down. And they said, yeah, they confirmed that bone, it was definitely a human leg bone. And I said, dude, you need to take that bone back and put it back in the ground, dude. You're going to have the worst luck ever. I said, don't never take anything like that ever again, dude. Don't do it.
The area that they reassembled that building, what area was that? Was that some sort of, maybe because what's going on there could be part of the land, haunting of the land that's just brought into the home also, into that building.
Yeah. I mean, it was a field hospital. So
from the outside, it doesn't necessarily have to be part of that location.
Yeah. I mean, it was a field hospital, so there were people that probably lost their lives in there. There were slaves there as part of the Underground Railroad. I mean, there was a lot of things that that place was a part of in our history. So it's probably one of the most haunted places I've ever been in. Intelligently too, like it would respond to you, whistle. You could whistle a certain tune and it would whistle it back. Which wow. I played that on Ron and Chris's show.
I heard that. I watched their show.
Yeah, that whistle was incredible, and it happened all through the night with multiple people there. So, multiple people got to witness that, which was pretty cool.
I didn't realize it was you, but I remember that clip.
Yep, that was me.
I remember that clip. That was you.
That was me.
Okay, I remember that clip. Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I have to play it on here.
The like I said, sometimes it might not be just the building, it might be, the location that they rebuilt it on, the land could be bringing, and maybe between the building with what happened at the building and the land, maybe just making one big intense portal, bringing stuff in even more than if it was back on its original location.
Yeah, that place had the whole trifecta, man. I mean, I've seen shadow people there. I never seen a full body apparition, but I did see these shadow figures on 2 different occasions. Loud banging, disembodied voices. Man, you hear disembodied voices like we're talking, to tell you to go home, get out, all kinds of things.
Really?
Yeah, man. Like the front doors would open up on their own. That night I seen the figure out on the front porch. I went home, and about 8 o'clock in the morning, the owner called me. He goes, "Hey man, I'm gonna have to bust the chops a little bit." I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, "You left the doors to Lansing House wide open, dude." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, man, the front doors were wide open when I got in there in the morning." I'm like, "Bro, I locked all those doors." He's like, "They were wide open, man. Like someone opened them up." And I'm like, "Those doors were locked when I left, dude." I said, "What's weird is I seen something out on the porch. It was kind of freaky. And maybe that's what it was that opened the doors up." I said, "Because those doors were locked." I said, "I was the last one out." And I said, "I'm always the last one out to make sure the place is locked up." But yeah, the doors were wide open when I left. Somehow they got open, which I have no idea how.
So if the spirits open the door, and that means if somebody tries to rob it, the spirits can chase them out anyway. So it's probably still safe.
Yeah, I mean,
get out. You'd be like, "Okay, I'm out."
There was a guy that worked there that actually he was friends of the owner, and he spent the night there one night. He didn't believe in ghosts and any of that stuff. So he was like, "Man, I don't believe in ghosts. I'm staying there." He's up in the 3rd floor. The 3rd floor was really active, and he's sleeping, and he wakes up to the room being really cold, and there's a woman standing at the foot of the bed, and she doesn't have any clothes on, and she's glowing green. He said she was glowing green, and she had no clothes on, but he can only see her from the waist up. There was no legs, and he said he jumped up out of there and he ran out, and he left all his stuff there. And I said, "Well, I want to talk to him, so bring him down here." So he came down, but he wouldn't go in the house. He wouldn't even step on the porch. He's like, "I'm not going in there." He said, "I'll never go back in that place again." He said, "That place is haunted." He goes, "I won't step foot on that porch." He said, "I'll stay right here and talk to you, but I'm not going in there." I was like, "Oh, okay." All right. So he definitely experienced something then, because he was definitely scared. He's like, "No, I'll never go in that house ever again. Ever again."
Chris says green boobies.
Yeah, got some green tatas, I guess.
Some Star Trek stuff going on there.
Yeah. He said she was illuminated like this green color or something, almost like a plasma green or something, from what he was saying. I'm like, okay. I said, I've never seen anything like that, but I did see light anomalies in there that were huge. I seen, and multiple people seen it, which was cool. Actually, I had people, they were doing a ghost tour, and they were like, "Hey, we see this light down the other end of the hallway." And I'm like, "A light?" I'm like, "There's somebody down there." So I step out and I look down the hallway. Sure enough, there's a light, maybe about the size of a tennis ball. It's right smack dab in the middle of the hallway. I'm like, "What the hell is that?" And I kind of like bend down and I'm looking. And all of a sudden, it gets big like this. It gets like the size of like a basketball. I'm like, "Whoa." And they're like, "Whoa, what is that?" And then it just went right back out, like out of existence, right? And I'm like, "What the hell did we just see?" So I ran down there because I'm thinking somebody's down there with playing around, doing something. There, somebody came in or something. No one's there. I checked downstairs. No one's down there. The doors are locked. I'm like, "Holy, yeah, we seen a light anomaly, like a huge light anomaly." I'm like, "Wow." And I said that was self-illuminating, which was, I've never seen that, like that size. I've seen light anomalies. They were small though. Like you see like pings of light in the dark and stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see these pings of light,
How big is this place? Is it big?
Oh yeah, it's huge. It's huge. It's like 12,000 square feet. It's gigantic. Yeah, it's huge.
Maybe we should maybe we get something going there one day. We'll come and visit you.
Wow, I'd love to.
Investigation down there.
I'd love to, but they sold it to a doctor, and now he's not letting anybody in there.
Oh.
Yep, a doctor bought it, and I've been trying desperately to try to get back in there. and he won't return any calls or anything. So I'm like, wow.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it's really haunted. I'll tell you that. Like I said, probably one of the most haunted places I've been in. And I've been in a lot of them. I can tell you that. I've been in a lot of them.
There's a lot of locations.
I've probably investigated close to 500 cases at least, or more. At least that much in the last 26 years. So,
you know, I'm up there also with a lot of stuff. With the location, like you say, you do a lot of private homes.
Oh yeah.
So you do mostly private homes, but I'm not going to ask you location names or anything. But what experiences you have? Like any of them that you had to go back a couple of times? Anything that was really that top of your list? Like, wow, this is really out of control.
Oh yeah. We got one we're still working on. I have cases I've been working on since 2011. They're still going on. Yeah, I've had clients that are actually, I'm working with Bishop Long now about a case up in Effort, PA that I've been doing since 2011. And it's actually the case where we captured this black shadow coming out of a closet. And we actually played it on Chris's show, Chris and Ron's show too. They played that video on there. First time I was ever on that show, their podcast. And
I'm trying to think of remember that one.
It's black shadow that comes out of it. It just appears in the closet. It's like a burst of energy, like this black mass. And then if anybody wants to watch that video, they can go to YouTube and just go to Harrisburg Area Paranormal Society and click on the it says Black Mass video. You can go right to that and watch that video. It's a pretty amazing video. We captured that back in 2011.
I see a lot of their shows, so I'm trying to. I think I knew which one it was. Something came out of the closet. And, yeah. So,
there's some really wild stuff.
That show, a lot of things come out of the closet. So.
I'm also working. I've been working on a case since 2014 up in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, and we're still investigating that. And that's probably one of the most prolific cases I think I've worked on, where maybe there's something there that's not from here. You know what I mean? Like it's maybe, and I don't say the D word too much, but maybe it is something demonic. I don't know. I don't say that. I say that if you hear me say that, then because I don't say that often. Because I've never seen anything that's demonic in all the years.
Extremely rare. Too many people use the word.
Yeah, I don't. You're never going to hear me say that, and I'm not even going to say it there. I don't know what it is, but I know whatever it is, it's not nice. It involves a family with 4 daughters, and they were seeing this woman in black, and we were actually aired on Ghost Nation with this case too. We did Ghost Nation with this episode called The Lady in Black, and they see this woman in black all the time with kind of like back in the 1800s where women, if someone passed away, they wore like all black and they wear black veils and things like. Well, that's what they're seeing in the house, but the lady doesn't have a face, and they're hearing a little kid like crying, and it wakes the whole house up. This kid crying, it's just like a little small kid crying, and it wakes the house up. Everybody in the house hears it, and they just don't know where they go look for this little kid. They can't find it, and they see this man. I mean, it takes all different shapes and forms. I just think it's just one thing making changing into many things, because some of the things that I've experienced in there, they're wild. I mean, I've never experienced things like that where, the first time we went there and investigated, we didn't really have anything happen. Like personal wise, nothing. Like we didn't hear anything. We didn't experience anything. We drove 4.5 hours to past Pittsburgh, and we're just like, we're driving back like 5, 6 in the morning, like, man, that really sucked. We didn't have anything happen, and they're saying all this stuff happened, and we're like, that was a really shit case, we drove, didn't have anything happen. It was quiet all night. But then we went back into the review, and we start listening to the audio, we start watching the video. And one point in the night, I did find a Ouija board in the house. Now, they did say that the whole family played with the Ouija board at work. I seen it. It was there. You know, as an investigator, you're like, yeah, a Ouija board. Okay. You know, I've never had anything happen with a Ouija board. So I'm just like, whatever. You know, it's a Ouija board. Some people, you know, say they're portals to hell and all those things. I don't know. I've never had anything happen. I think it's certain people maybe that are plugged in with those boards where they work, but I've never had anything happen with me using them. And I don't use them, but I've messed to see if they work. Nothing ever happened. And actually, I messed with it in there to see if it would work, and it didn't. So, but while I'm messing with it, we're capturing a voice on the video camera, a disembodied voice on the video camera on the second floor, and we captured the same voice on 4 other recording devices, and it's a man's voice, and it says, "I'll kill his kids," and it's like, "I'll kill," like right in the camera, you know. And we're like, my buddy Carl calls me, and you know, the next day he's like, "Dude, I captured a voice in the camera, man, like saying I'll kill his kids," kind of referring to like the husband. And like it says, "I'll kill his kids," you know, and he had 4 daughters. And so I'm like, man, that's really weird. Then I'm capturing a woman's voice saying, "I want my baby," like all these things that they're saying. It's starting to come into play. Like, okay, they are experiencing a woman. I'm hearing a woman saying, "I want my baby." They're hearing a kid crying. Okay, something's happened in the house with a woman and a child, and you know, something's happened. And I don't know what this "I'll kill his kids" business is, but we need to figure out what's going on. So we go back, we play them the evidence that we called, and I was like, I said, the only thing that's kind of disturbing to me is this clip that says "I'll kill his kids." I said, I've never heard a ghost or a spirit or whatever you want to call these things say it was going to kill somebody's kids. And the father, he's a big guy, you know, he was a bodybuilder. He's like 6'2", 6'2", big dude, big menacing looking dude, tattoos, you know, big guy. And he's like, man, nothing's going to happen to me or my kids. Yes, I'm not worried about that. You know, I was like, okay, Mom, just letting you know what we caught. I said, I would definitely, you know, keep an eye out on things. You know, if you want us to come back, we'll come back. And I said, we're with you forever, or, you know, however long this takes to resolve, we'll be here for you. So I said, okay, great. You know, we left, and I think about 2 months had passed, and I get a call from the wife, and she's crying, she's upset, and she said, I just want to let you know that we found our daughter dead in the attic. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, we found our 14-year-old daughter passed away in the attic. And she was there in our first case. We met her. Her name was Lydia, and we met her. And I had video over. I still have video over here on file, and I can't watch it, but it tears me up just to watch it.
Oh my God!
But yeah, she passed away from a massive heart attack at 14.
What? 14?
She was 14. They said she had an undiagnosed heart problem, but the thing that bothers me the most is this thing in the house would always mess with her. It was messing with her the most. And that bothered me, you know, and I'm like, there's something, why will we get a clip like that? And then, you know, she passes away from a massive heart attack. Could have scared her to death. You know what I mean? Because she would wake up and this thing would be, you know, this face would be over top of hers as she wakes up in the morning, you know, or waking up at night. And there was a couple of times where they had called me and the lights are going on and off in the attic. And she's like, the lights keep going on and off. They're going on and off. I said, get the hell out of there. Get out of the attic, you know? And she seen the woman in black. She ran into her in the hallway. The woman in black was in the hallway, and Lydia kind of ran into her and
oh my God,
ran down the stairs. The parents had told me that she was so scared she almost knocked the TV off the wall, and there's just so many things in that house that are really weird. And yeah, I mean, it mimics their voices, which it gets really personal. Is, you know, the wife's name is Julie, and the husband calls her Jules, and she'll be in the kitchen doing something, and she'll hear what sounds like her husband say, "Hey, Jules," and she'll turn around, and it's not him. He's not even there, but it's mimicking his voice. And then he'll hear her voice mimicking her while he's doing things. And they've had things move across the house, things flying. I mean, just doors opening and closing. I mean, foul smells. You name it, they've had it in there. And when I was in there, we went back again after Lydia had passed. And this time it was different. Like this time it was active, and we had a lot of things happen that were really, really creepy and really scary. Which I don't like the house. I don't like going to the house, but as they're my clients, and I have to do what I have to do to help them. And I don't like going there. I had a personal experience that happened to me in the bathroom. I was using the bathroom. I had the door shut, and I'm taking a leak. I'm handling my business, taking a leak, and I feel this air, like this breeze, like come up on me, and I turn around, like how someone it comes up real fast behind you, and the air just continues to go forward. Well, that's what it was like. I turned around real fast. I thought it was one of the guys or something, and I turned around, and I'm like, no one came in, and I'm like, all right, that was weird. I'm just like continuing to go in the bathroom, and all of a sudden, I hear this voice, like almost like someone puts their hand like this, on your by your ear, and it's this creepy, demonic, like creepiest exorcist sounding voice I've ever heard in my life, and never heard that before. And it said something to me which scared the shit out of me. It said there are many, but I'm one. And but it said it in this really creepy, demonic sounding voice. And like I said, I don't say demonic much, and that's something I could describe it as. It's like this raspy, like creepy, deep man's voice, like there are many people I want. It was just like that,
See here on TV.
Similar to that statement is said in almost every horror movie.
It was creepy as shit I've ever heard in my life. And when I heard it, I think I pissed on the floor, the wall, the toilet.
You gotta get out of there.
I got out of that bathroom so fast, man. I think I jumped down about 7 steps, and I went out the front door and walked around back to my car, and I sat in my car for about 20 minutes. And I was just sitting. I left the guys in there. I didn't even tell them what happened. And Carl came out. He goes, "Hey, man, you coming in?" And I'm like, yeah, I'll be in there in a couple minutes, man. I make a call. I lied to him. I was like, I got to make a call.
Like your thoughts for a minute there.
Yeah, I had to get myself together because I never had anything like that happen. And I'm thinking to myself, what in the hell is in this house? Because I've never had anything like that happen. And all the years of investigating, I'm like, what is in this house, man? It likes to get you alone, and it likes to scare you. Like it likes to isolate you. And that's the scary part about it. It enjoys getting you alone. And I think that's exactly what it was doing to the girl, to Lydia. It was like getting her alone, and it liked to scare her, like it was an enjoyment for it. You know what I mean? And fed off of it, which I tell you what, it scared the shit out of me. I'm not gonna lie, man. Like I ran out of it. I didn't run, but I walked fast, like to get out of there. And I came back in, but I told the other guys, I said, look, from that point on, I was like, look, don't be alone anywhere in the house. I don't care what you're doing. If you're going somewhere, have somebody with you. They're like, why? I was like, just do it, And I still didn't tell them what happened. So we're all sitting at the dining room table, me, Carl, and Ryan, and we're just watching the monitors. I didn't even want to go back up to the second floor. That's where it happened. I was like, I don't even want to go back up there. Like it shook me up that bad. And I was like, man, I'm like, first time ever investigating. I was afraid. Like I really was afraid. And I'm like, this thing's going to do something to one of us. You know what I mean? Like it's escalating to something that's going to happen. Like if it's getting that personal, like that close, I was definitely afraid, and I'm not going to be ashamed to admit it. I was afraid, and I'm not afraid much, but I can't fight something I can't see. You know what I mean? Like I didn't see anything either. That's what's the scary part. How can I fight something I can't see or touch? It can touch me, but I can't touch it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's the scary part about this whole thing, And we're sitting at the table, and Carl was on one side of the table and Ryan, they're sitting next to each other, maybe, 2 feet apart. And I'm on the other side. And they both looked at each other like, and they look at me and they're like, did you hear that? I'm like, I didn't hear anything. He's like, you didn't hear that voice? I'm like, I didn't hear shit. He's like, dude, that was the creepiest voice I ever heard. And their eyes were like this. They're like, what was that? I'm like, I didn't hear anything. He's like, you didn't hear that creepy ass voice? I'm like, no, it happened right in between them. And I was only sitting maybe 3 or 4 feet away from them, but they heard it. I didn't. And it was almost meant. It was like meant for them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it already isolated me. Now it was targeting them. And they were both kind of wigged out. And they're sitting there, and Carl's sitting there like looking at the monitor. And Carl's about 6'1", probably about 260, 270. He's a pretty big guy. And something pulls him away from the table. Like it's like he pulls him away from the table with him sitting in the chair. He jumps up. He's like, oh my God. He's like looking. And I'm like, what? I thought he like just pushed the chair back. And he goes, dude, something pulled me back from the table. I'm like, no way. He goes, man, and Carl is the biggest skeptic in my group that you're ever going to meet. We call him the exorcist, for Christ's sake. Like, that's what we call him. We're like, dude, the exorcist is here. We're not going to have anything happen. But that's one of the few cases that changed him believing that there are these negative things. And that case is one of them. He's like, I can't explain the things that happened there that night. I mean, that night was insane. We had so much stuff happen. And I'm sitting at the table and I'm like, can you do this? And I take my hand and I just bang it on the table like 7 times, like pretty loud, like boom, boom, boom. And I'm hitting the table. I said, come on, do it. And almost like antagonizing it, because now I'm mad that this thing did what it did to me. And now it's doing things, I'm kind of pissed. And the adult, Lydia's passed. So I'm getting mad. And nothing happens. The whole atmosphere changes. It gets kind of quiet. Everything settles down. We sit there another couple hours. Nothing. It's just like silent. Like you could hear a pin drop. It was just that quiet. So we're like, it's like, I don't know, 4 a.m. Like we had a hotel room. So like, look, you want to pack it up? And he's like, yeah. So it seems like everything kind of just mellowed out now. Everything's cool. So we pack everything up. We're heading out the door. And me and Carl get at the side door, and all of a sudden we hear this banging coming from the second floor, and it does it 7 times. There's as many times as I banged on the table, it does it. And it's shaking the house. It's like boom, boom, boom. I mean, we could feel it in the floor, above us. I'm like, holy shit, And I'm looking at Carl. Carl goes, man, let's get out of here, dude. He's let's get out of here, man. Like this is something's gonna happen. And we just
people
left.
still live there?
They still live there, yeah.
Are you kidding me? Their daughter passed and all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
And if we could move a grown man that's sitting at a table and go pull him from the chair, pull his chair back with him in it.
Yeah.
That's strength. And then making those loud by shaking a freaking building. That's a lot of power.
Yeah, it was extremely loud. And Carl looked at me, he's like, and like I say, Carl's he's one of my biggest skeptics, man. Like, you really got to prove a lot of shit to him to validate something for him. And there's only been a couple cases where he's been like really excited that something paranormal happened. I mean, he really have to prove it to him. And that was one of them. And he's just like, dude, there's something.
So. Wow.
There's something. And what's even crazier? When we filmed the episode of Ghost Nation in that house, now we didn't have a whole lot of things happen that night because Jason goes, man, it's really quiet in here. And I was like, yeah, it's quiet. I said, that's how it is sometimes in this house. I said, sometimes you come and it's normal and there's nothing, but we were hearing things. When me and Dave Tango were in the attic, that's where Lydia passed away. That was her bedroom. And we were hearing these low voices. I thought it was the cameraman whispering. And I'm like, I look at the cameraman. I'm like, hey, man, you guys whispering? And they're like, no. You were hearing this like conversation, but it's not them. And I'm like, Dave, do you hear this? And he's like, I'm hearing like low like talking, like two people talking, and I'm like, a conversation, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, that's not you guys. They're like, no. And I still couldn't believe it. I'm like, I'm hearing it out loud. You know, I'm like, you guys don't hear that. And they're like, no, but Dave's hearing it. I'm hearing it.
Mm-hmm.
But not a whole lot of things happened paranormal wise significantly. They heard some footsteps. We were there filming for a week. So we did hear some footsteps, but nothing really significant, you know. So after they left, a week after they left, they're hearing voices from the attic calling for Dave Tango. They're calling for Dave, and they're calling for Carl. There's a voice saying, calling for Dave and calling for Carl. Yeah, I'm glad they didn't call my name. You know what I mean? But it was calling their names. And they said, yeah, we hear a voice coming from the attic calling for Carl, and it's calling for Dave.
Multiple spirits, or you think it's just one that mimics everybody that acts differently? There's one. I think
it's one.
Yeah. Because that's what it sounds like.
What it said. That's why it said what it said. It said there are many, but I am one. It took me a while to figure that out until I just figured that out like maybe a year ago when I was talking about it. And I'm like,
you know, shit. Spirits, because spirits were human beings at one time. Could this spirit be a spirit of a human that had multiple personalities?
It could be.
Multiple personalities that it comes and it's haunting as one spirit, but different personalities. It picks up different personalities, or you know.
Yeah, it could be.
It could be, you know, somebody that has like some kind of psychotic mental problems.
Yeah,
that's why it seems demonic.
Yeah, you know? I mean that's probably one of my scariest cases. Is that one?
That's crazy.
There's that much phenomena going on in the house.
That's one of the worst places I've heard in a long time, except for the ones they put in movies, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, this is like something that could be a movie. You know what I mean? Like things that they're experiencing. And
how long have you been working on that? Since 2011? Is that the one?
2014. Yeah.
14.
That was a case we got from the Taps family. Actually, Taps sent us that case to go up there and investigate it. And little I know that I would still be involved with that case to this day. We're actually going back there in November. They wanted us to come back because now they're hearing screaming in the house. They're hearing what sounds like just blood curdling screaming in the house now. So they're the only ones. The mother and father are the only ones left in the house. All the other kids have moved out, so it's just them now. And they sleep downstairs. They don't even go up to the second floor anymore or the attic. They sleep downstairs on the first floor. So I'm wondering how this is going to turn out. It's I stopped up there in the summer with my wife, and then just walking through there, I get a weird feeling every time I walk in there. I'm like, I didn't go any further than the front door. We sat in the living room and talked, and my wife goes, well, I didn't really feel anything negative. I said, well, you're not really in here long enough to experience anything. You know, you're just here visiting for a brief hour. You know, I said, stay here overnight. You're going to get a different feeling. I can promise you that. It's just, I've never heard of, I don't know of anybody that's had a case where a kid that has passed away on their case, you know, and
no.
It's not an easy thing.
That child did not have any heart problems or anything like that.
They said that it was an undiagnosed. I think they did an autopsy of Lydia, and they said she had an undiagnosed heart problem. But I'm just wondering, like, was that voice like some kind of omen, like it predicting she's going to pass, or was it responsible for her death? I really don't know. I was leaning toward
scared to death.
Yeah,
if that child was scared that bad. You can't be scared to death.
Yeah,
I mean, a child that age doesn't have usually a heart attack.
Yeah, I mean, I know.
14.
Well, she was 14. Yeah, she was 14.
Unless it has some sort of issues through the years. That's crazy.
They had no idea she had a heart condition. They had until she passed. And what's crazy is, you know, it's one of these cases. It changes everything what you think. You know, I never thought these things could hurt you or things like that, you know, because I've never been physically hurt by anything in an investigation. I mean, I have been scratched and things like that, but that's not like, you know, I just think that's some way they communicate sometimes is maybe they scratch you or something like that, you know. I've been scratched and nothing has transpired after that, but I've been scratched, I've been pushed, I've been poked, you know, I've had all that things. I've been touched, you know, I've had all those things happen. But you know, when a kid passes away, that's a hard pill to swallow when your case, man. You know,
child.
it changed my life. I didn't investigate for almost 2 years after that. I stopped investigating for about 1.5 years, almost 2 years.
Wow.
I couldn't deal with it very well. I still have a hard time with it. I can't watch the video with her, and it tears me up. I can't watch it.
You need to go down there. You need to Staticom. You gotta get Ron and Lourdes and Tony and Sherry.
Yeah, we could do it. We could do it.
Staticom probably would help out a little bit down there.
Yeah, that would be awesome, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they got it so clear. You could call the spirit.
That could definitely help the parents with the passing of Lydia. If they could somehow talk to her, that'd be pretty.
I know Ron's in the audience, and Ron's in the audience right now. Ron and Lourdes. So
yeah,
maybe
that'd be pretty cool if we could.
Because that sounds really. The parents need answers. It's been going on for a long time.
Oh yeah,
and that's scary.
Yeah, it's scary, man. It's not.
That is scary.
It's not a.
If you ever need a bunch of people to come down, let me know. I'd love to help out.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, this is an open case, so we're still helping them. I mean, I'm not going to walk away from them. I promised them I never would. I promised all my clients that I'll never walk away from them, and I won't.
You can't.
I won't. I'll stay there until it's my time, I guess. You know, whatever. But yeah, that'd be great, man. We could, do something up there like that. That'd be incredible, actually. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's not very far from New York. I don't think it's more westernly. I think.
Where is it?
It's right outside of Pittsburgh in Newcastle, where Hillview Manor is. It's not far from Hillview Manor.
Hillview.
Yep. Okay. It's not far from there.
It's by Pittsburgh. So, Summer Mansion's that way too. Is that near there?
Summer Mansion. Where the hell is that?
Now,
I remember talking to the people from Summer Mansion. I can't remember where the hell that's at. That's more toward Philly, right?
Norristown.
Yeah, that's going toward like Philadelphia, right?
Yeah,
I think. Yeah.
Oh, you're going by Pittsburgh. That's the other way.
That's going western. That's going westernly. Yeah.
Is it closer to Ohio, or is it closer to
You're getting close to Ohio. You're about 45 minutes out past Pittsburgh, going west. So yeah, you're headed toward Ohio.
Yeah, that is a trip for us to get out there, but it doesn't stop us. We go.
Yeah, I go anywhere.
In this direction, we all go anywhere. We've been down to West Virginia and all this stuff, So.
Oh yeah, I've been as far as North Carolina. So.
Yeah.
Drove down and back in one night. It was tough. But I think that's one of the most scariest cases I've been on. I've had some great cases recently too. So I mean, we did one in Mechanicsburg that was incredible. I caught 75 EVPs out of one house. I've never caught that many EVPs out of a house intelligently responding to things. We did find the history of the house where a person died in the house, and it's kind of didn't die. They were killed. The wife actually pushed the husband down the stairs, and he fell down the stairs and wound up breaking his neck. He laid there for a few hours and before he finally passed, but he did tell one of his kids that one of his kids found him, and the mother was upstairs. He's laying down there dying, and they said, "What happened, Dad?" And he gets it out before he dies that the mother pushed him down the stairs and he died. Yeah.
That's what happens when you say dinner's not good.
Dinner was cold. I'll cheat you, you son of a bitch, and push him down the stairs.
Dinner's cold. Take this.
But it was a good case, man. It was
that is a wild-sounding case.
The mother didn't believe the little girls were sleeping upstairs, and the mother was sleeping downstairs. And the little girls were seeing apparitions. They were seeing something come out of the attic and stand by the bed, and then the other one was seeing a little boy playing. She had a little kitchen set. She had a little kitchen set in her room, and she would see a little boy playing with the with the kitchen set. And the mother totally didn't believe him. And so she called us. She said, can you come in and validate these claims that the kids are saying? I'm not having anything happen. So we came in, and right away we hear the attic door rattling, like someone's trying to get out of the door. And we're like, okay, this is what the little girl's hearing too. She's hearing it. And 2 of the investigators hear it. So I'm standing at the foot of the bed, and I got my recorder in my hand. I'm doing a live EVP, so I got it like this. And all of a sudden, man, I hear all this static in the recorder, and it's just like really loud. And I hear a voice within the static, and it says help me. It's like, help me, in the static. And I'm like, whoa, what the shit? That was weird. But I heard a voice too. And I'm like, whoa, that was weird, man. I heard a voice within that static. And right when I said that, it felt like something like just touched my arm. This real cold, staticky feeling. And all the hair just went right up on my left arm. And I'm like, something just touched my arm. And I'm shining the light over all the hair is like just standing up on my arm. I'm like, dude, there's something here. I said, yeah, that's pretty cool. You touched me. I felt it. I said, you're impressing me. And I didn't hear it, but the recorder picked up a voice saying, thank you. It says, thank you. Like in the recording, I'm like, dude, that is cool. But there was a lot of things that happened in there. Yeah, I said, there's a little boy here. Can you tell us your name? And it says his name. It says Henry. It says Henry. So we captured a little boy's voice saying Henry, validating what the little girl seen. And I had a static camera setting up in the same room, in the 8-year-old room, and I'm watching the video at home, and I hear a voice go, like in the camera, and I thought it was one of my guys, because there was a guy sitting on the floor, and I said, oh, that must be Carl, because me and Carl always mess with each other. I'm always going, Carl, and he's like, John, we're always joking around, and I thought it was him, right? So I'm like, I'm gonna check the recorder, because I had a live EVP going at the same time in the same room. So I went into that recorder to kind of validate it to see if it was him. And my recorder didn't pick up any voice, but the camera caught the voice saying John. I'm like, oh, all right, that's cool. I said, that's a pretty good validation. The camera says John, but this recorder is not saying nothing. And I'm only standing, I don't know, 5-6 feet away from that camera, and it doesn't pick up any voice on my recorder. Nothing at all. But the camera picks up a voice saying John. I'm like, that's cool. And then later on, we're catching voices, saying, the bitch shoved me. It's just a man's voice saying, the bitch shoved me. And I'm like, this is all things that are collaborating. We're experiencing in the house. It's collaborating with what happened in the house. So she wound up moving. We were going to get with the landlord because she was scared. Because later on, after we investigated, I think like a week later, she moved. Once we let her hear all the evidence, she moved all the kids out of there and moved them downstairs with her. So one night, they're all sleeping, and the youngest daughter wakes up, and she hears what sounds like a baby crying upstairs. And she looks over, and her baby, the mother and the youngest, the baby, are sleeping next to her, but she hears a baby crying upstairs. And it's calling her name to come upstairs. Whatever's up there, it's calling her name to come upstairs. Yeah. And I'm like, thank God she didn't go up there. She was smart enough not to go up there. But the voice sounded like her mother. It was mimicking her mother's voice for her to come upstairs. And I'm like, oh, wow. So you need to get out of this house. I said, this is not, you need to move. There's a lot of things going on here that's, if it's mimicking your voice telling your daughter to come up there and there's no one up there, anything could have happened. She could have got pushed down the stairs and got hurt. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're kind of poking the bear with this now. You know what I mean? Like, you poke the bear, eventually you're gonna get bit. So I'm just like, you need to move. If you need us to step in, and I'll talk to the landlord, whatever you need to do, I'll present this evidence to the landlord. This place is haunted. Get you out of this lease so we can get you out of here. And she contacted the leasing company and said, this place is haunted. I want out of here. And they're like, this place ain't haunted. And I'm like, tell them I will come down there and play the evidence for them, and they can hear it, so you can get out of this lease. I said, they need to let you out of this lease. And she told them that, and they let her out of her lease. I said, yeah, we're going to let you out. And they let her out. Another family moved in, and they're experiencing paranormal phenomena. One of the guys got pulled out of the bed in that very room where I got touched. He got yanked out of the bed onto the floor. So,
wow.
Yeah, there's phenomena going on there. I'm trying to get back in there, but not very successful. But
do you have this evidence on your site, on any of your your YouTube channel or anything?
I have some bits and pieces of evidence. I mean, I don't put a whole lot on there.
Yeah, you can't really put that card in because it's private, Well,
I put it on there if they allow it, but a lot of my evidence I don't put out there. I put some really compelling stuff out there, but I kind of save it for like podcasts for people that are really interested in this stuff, that really want to see real paranormal stuff. I'll play it for like podcasts like yours and Ron and Chris's. I like people that really respect what we're doing. You know what I mean? Like you put it on YouTube, you get all these people, oh, that's fake. And this, I don't do anything.
I know, you always have to hear that.
Anything. That shit irritates me. I'm just like, I don't spend thousands of dollars on equipment to fake anything. You know what I mean? Like, this is not why I'm doing this. And I get insulted when people say that. You know what I mean? Like, I get pretty mad. I'm like, what you're looking at is real. This is real. This is not a game to me. I don't play games. This is real. I'm not benefiting anything out of this but to help people. That's it. I'm not making any money. I don't charge people for anything. I just want to help people. And people say things are fake. I'm like, there's nothing in my catalog that's fake. Everything you're seeing is real.
They think you're doing it for television or for
show. I've been on television, but I never gained anything out of it. You know what I mean? And if anything, I just got some clout out of it that, hey, I am a legit paranormal team. And you can bring me into your house and nothing bad is gonna happen. Like, you're not gonna get robbed or anything, like, you know what I mean? Like, all my paranormal investigators are background checked. I have a criminal background checks on every member of my group. So, if a client wants that, I can show that to them. Hey, every one of my members are criminally cleared. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, because you have people going to your homes and stuff like that. So some of them, they might say, "Oh, who's these people coming to my house?"
Yeah, exactly. You don't know who you got coming to your house. You know what I mean? Like, they're trusting you with their family, their lives. This is serious to me. It's a serious business to me.
I think we've also seen people, fake evidence or create fake evidence or,
and that's for clicks.
On a Ouija board or, go into a trance, whatever it is. It's
you see people going into a trance.
Then they're not for, they're not doing it for the right reasons like the rest of us are.
Yeah, exactly. And when I see people do that, I'll call this shit out real quick. If I see someone doing that and I'm around them, they're gonna get called out. Like, you're not gonna like me after that, but if you're doing something stupid like that, I'm gonna call you out, man. Like,
well, there's a reason why they're not going to like you for it.
Like, I take this stuff serious. When I see people faking stuff like that, that really pisses me off. Like, dude, you're making a mockery of what we do. You know what I mean? That's what you're doing to me and every other paranormal researcher out here that's invested in this and wants to find an answer.
And it's sad because then it makes the rest of us look the same. That's why people laugh at what we do or they make fun of what we do or they're
like, oh, you're just running around in the dark with flashlights and recorders. No, we're not.
Demons.
We're trying to find an answer. We're trying to find an answer to this stuff. Just going into a house and you're helping kids and they come up and give you the biggest hug because they're afraid. And when you come into that house and they come running up to you and they're hugging you and they're holding, that's the best feeling in the world. That's more than any money could ever give you. You know what I mean? Is that feeling of that kid trusting you to be in their house and help them. That's important.
They feel safe with you.
Yeah. My last case with those little girls. I mean, I'd come in the house, they're hugging me, and that was the best feeling in the whole world. It's
Yeah.
like Christmas time, but you gave your kids Christmas presents, you know what I mean? And they come up hugging you and stuff, and that's kind of the way it felt, you know?
That's it.
And
you know, closure, give people closure on if you get a case and you know, I know I've been to places where you start doing your investigation, then at the end they thank you and you give them some sort of closure. You know, I had this one woman, and a matter of fact, I played the evidence last week on the show. It was an old woman in her 80s. Her daughter is 60 something years old, and we just put a spirit box on, and we're all sitting there. And the first thing comes out, we ask, I was there with a psychic, and he goes, "Can you tell us everybody's here?" And I said, "Walter." The woman got all excited, and she goes, That's my father," and then he goes, "That's my grandfather," and he goes,
"That's cool.
Hey, he built this house." And that whole night we were getting stuff about that, and we're getting stuff about, he was an electrician, I'm an electrician, so I was throwing things out there like what on the job type of things that we would, and I was getting answers back, and he carded me like like a union member, can you see your card, and he asked me for my card. It was something. And at the end of the night, she hugged me and she goes, "I never thought I would hear my father's voice again." It's like that. That was so. She got some sort of closure. Maybe not total, but she felt something that just that night he was there just to talk. And we got to be able to speak to him. So,
I mean, I always tell people, right away, like I can't get rid of these things. You know what I mean? Like you'll see other paranormal groups go and say, "Oh yeah, we're going to get rid of these ghosts and we're going to do that. Everything's a demon. You got 10 demons in here because we mapped out 6 SLS figures. So you got 6 demons over there, 6 over here." That shit drives me crazy. I'm just like, no, we don't expel these things. We don't understand them. We can't even comprehend what's going on with this paranormal phenomena that we're experiencing. So how in the hell am I going to tell you we're going to get rid of something that I can't even understand to begin with? That's just not even logical thinking,
Yeah.
But you have people that say they can get rid of them, but can you? I haven't had any luck with it. I've had priests and
sometimes you can't even get rid of elementals, and you want to get rid of a demon.
Like I've never seen a demon. I've seen people acting like they were possessed. I've never seen a demonic case. I've been in cases that I don't know what they are. Are they demons? I really don't know what the hell this thing is.
Maybe they're just really angry people who haven't been able to cross over because they've been stuck here too long, and now their energy is just resistant.
Yeah, just called negative spirits.
Yeah,
I mean, you had negative people in life when they die. I guess they're going to be negative when they're dead. You know what I mean?
I know lots of them. Lots of them. I've seen lots of them.
Debbie Downers, you know what I mean? That's just how they are. That's how they're going to be.
I see stupid people. That's a fun. But
I'm watching. You know what else drives me crazy too? Is those stupid ghost tube apps. I hate those things. I use this ghost tube apps. I hate those things. For some reason, they use the SLS one too, which drives me crazy. Because that's not an SLS. That's not a mapping system on a phone. It doesn't even have that capability, but they're using it like it's mapping. I have a real XLS system. That phone is not a mapping system whatsoever. And I try to educate people on it, but they still use it. You see them on YouTube and
the SLS has multiple of the IR. Like they have a 3D mapping system. If you actually see that with another night vision camera, you can see how many of those lights are shooting out. It's it's like hundreds of those. It's like those little spots. It's like a laser all over. And a cell phone does not have that.
No, it's not even capable of doing that.
And it's not. It doesn't have even an IR light on it to even get one.
Yeah.
So,
and I've always wondered that. So
like
if they have an SLS like that on your phone, right? And people think that can work for an SLS. They also have pulse ox machines. They have something that could take your temperature, your blood pressure. Like,
no.
Who people believe anything. They really believe anything.
Yep. And they'll put it online as evidence, like, because they mapped out like that. I seen one online. This is no kidding. A guy was using that ghost tube app, and they were in a place and they had it on the news. They mapped out like 15 figures with that ghost tube app, the SLS, and they said that there was 15 demons in this house, and it was on the news. I'm like, wow, that's totally irresponsible. And now you have these people thinking in this home that there's 15 demons because you mapped out 15 stick figures on a ghost tube app. That's not even real. You know what I mean?
It's well, on all the equipment that you use, what do you use the most? All the equipment that you use.
A digital voice recorder, a camera, and I do like the XLS V2, the 3D mapping system.
And a zip tie.
Yeah, and a zip tie. Yeah.
You have to toss that in there.
I've caught some cool stuff on the XLS V2 lately that I can't really explain. It's expensive system to buy, but it's going to cost you about $600 or $700. But it's cool because it shoots. It's almost like LiDAR. When you're looking at it, you can physically say the cameras. You're mapping out a room. I can take that thing and I can go up and look down. If I'm mapping something that's there, I can look down on it. I can pan to the side, look on the side. I can even look from underneath of what it looks like.
That's the newer one. That's the newest one out.
That's the V2. Yeah, that thing is awesome, dude. It's awesome. And I talked to the guy who that I bought it from. I said, do these things pick up dust? And he's like, no, absolutely not. He said the V2 does not pick up dust. So if you're mapping something anomalous there, most likely it's paranormal. So, and I've caught some pretty cool stuff on it so far. So, wow. I'm impressed.
I got the SLS, got the original SLS I used to use. Yeah,
that's the older technology. Now they get that newer one.
Yeah,
it's badass. I like it. I said, wow, I really like this.
The camera on it is the same camera. Or they're making newer cameras.
It's it looks like a newer box that's on there, like the XLS, the 360 box. It looks newer.
Oh, yeah, the thicker one, the Xbox One or something like that. I think they call it.
Yeah, I think it's the one. Yeah, or maybe the newer one. I'm not sure. It's a big square one. It's a good. I'll tell you, it's really cool. The mapping system is awesome one. I think, man, I like it how you can pan around and look down sideways.
That must be cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I've seen people use the SLS, and I mean, you're looking at them and they go, hey, there's this figure there. No, it's like in front of you, it's reflective. You're actually picking yourself up.
Yeah.
That's why SLS, when you use it, you got to know your location. You got to know what you're shooting into, or where you're shooting, because it's always trying to map something. It doesn't matter if everybody, just stick that must be a person. No, it's trying to map something that it's trying to recognize that thing as a figure and making it into a figure, but it's not really a figure because it's one place I was at. There was the old the umbrellas in the middle of a table type of thing.
Yep.
Well, the umbrella was pulled down. It had like a little skirt in the top, and it came down like this. And the SLS was mapping that as a person, like a tall person. So people I'm with, like, as a tall person, I'm like, wait a minute. And I have my night vision camera. I'm going. I said, there's an umbrella there at the same spot where the SLS is mapping. I'm like, let me see something. And then I moved it, and it was just mapping that umbrella. It was just a mapping because it's seen something look at the head with shoulders. So it's trying to map something out. And of course, it's going to be moving because it's still trying to map it out. So, I mean, you have to, when people use that, they got to know what they're doing because I seen too many false positives. I think, oh yeah, that's true. No, it's not.
Yeah. We just had something happen with the XLS this 3 weeks ago. We're down in the basement. Their bedroom is down in the basement. So actually, this house was aired on Kindred Spirits, and we met the owner of the house at the bash, at the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. She came over to our table and she goes, "Oh, I see you guys are part of the Taft family. How come you guys didn't investigate my house?" I was like, "I don't know. We didn't get your key. The Taft family must have gave it to somebody else." And she goes, "Well, I'd really like you guys to come out and investigate it." I was like, "Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely do it." So we went out there, and they were saying they've seen. What's really real weird about this case is they see the same lady in black like we did in Newcastle. Described her exactly the same. Black mourning dress with the black veil. Everything. They described her almost the same. Me and Carl looking at each other like, all right, that's interesting. It stands by the bed. And that's exactly what it did in Newcastle. This thing was stand by the bed by the wife and then stand by the daughter. Same exact thing. I mean, it's totally weird. I don't understand it whatsoever. And so we go down in the basement. We're in the room, and I'm standing there. And I said, well, they said they see her come out of this closet. So, and it's just a utility closet. There's nothing in there. I think it was just like a little bit of storage stuff they had. So I opened the door. When I opened the door, this really blasted cold air came out, like really hard, like cold air, like almost like it was an air conditioning vent blowing in your face, So I'm like, damn, I was like cold. So I'm like looking around up in the ceiling for AC return, and there's nothing in there. There's no AC return. And I'm like, all right, I'm thinking to myself, all right, that's pretty weird. There's no AC return vent. And where'd that cold air come from? So I'm standing in the doorway between the closet and the bedroom, and it's really cold. Like it's cold there. Like there's a significant temperature change. There's something there. So I'm like, finally I say something to Carl. I'm like, it's cold right here. I said, I don't know why. I said, it doesn't feel comfortable right here. Like you get that feeling when you're in a haunted place, and it just didn't feel right. So I said, I'm going to move from this spot because I don't want to, something doesn't feel right. So I shut the door and I walk away. And as I'm walking over to the bathroom, I just happen to look back at the XLS, and it's mapping out a figure where I just shut the door. And I'm figuring maybe it's just the door that it's mapping out. That I shut the door, it's mapping it out. So I'm looking at it and I was like, there's a figure over there now. And I said, hey, Carl, go over there and put your hand in it and see what happens. I just want to see if there's a physical change of the atmosphere right there where it's at. So he walks over to it. And like I said, Carl's total skeptic, man. Like you meet this guy, he's a skeptic. He walks over, he sticks his hand there. I said, right there. So put your hand there. And when he does, the figure kind of moves around his arm, which is weird. It moves around it, and he's like, whoa, man. He's like, I said, what? He goes, it's significantly colder, and it's staticky. He said, there's something here. So he steps back away. He goes, it's weird. So he goes and gets this thermal imager, and we shoot the thermal imager over there, and it's like 10 degrees colder there. And he's like, it's 10 degrees colder from there to there within 3 feet. There's a cold spot there. I said, well, walk back over there. He walks back over there. He's like, dude, every hair on my arm standing up is standing up on my head, my face. He said, I can't explain. He goes, I don't like it, man. And he steps away. He goes, you walk over there. So I walk over and I put my hand where it's at. And I feel it too. I feel this cold, staticky feeling, like electric, like a static electricity. And I'm like, oh, dude, that is definitely, I feel it. It's there. It's weird. And I'm like, I feel like we're like in an adventure episode of Ghost Adventures or something with this shit, so I'm like, something. I said,
you be screaming and running out.
Yeah, right. So I'm like, I'm totally in debunk mode here. Like I want to debunk this shit. I'm just like, dude, go get the static meter. We have a static meter that detects negative and positive static. So I said, go get it. Let's test and see if it's got a negative or a static charge, positive charge. So he runs up, gets it, comes down. He starts walking over with it, and it disappears. It's gone. And it's been there for like 10 minutes. It hasn't moved. And it is moving around and doing stuff. But when he walks over with the meter, it's gone. I'm like, all right, so that's weird. It's gone. And he goes, the static, the cold's not there anymore. The static's not there. He said, we're not picking anything up on the static detector. So I said, let's try to recreate what happened. So I stand there, I open the door, I shut the door. I said, the figure there, I move, nothing. We can't recreate it. It doesn't come back. We can't recreate this big ass figure that's there. And it's big. It's bigger than Carl. I think Carl's 6'1". And this figure was significantly bigger than him. It was like to the ceiling almost. And what's wild is the little girl said she sees that same figure in the room that's big. And she drew a picture of it too, which was blowing my mind when I seen it. I'm like, everything's kind of validating that was a paranormal experience. Like we couldn't recreate how it was happening. We didn't recreate how it was happening. We experienced a cold spot. We captured a cold spot on thermal imaging. There was something there. We couldn't see it physically, but the XLS was mapping it out. And I actually scanned around the room with the XLS to see if it was if it was the door or it was off the door or on the door, and it was off the door. It wasn't on the door because I was looking down on it. I looked from the sides, and I'm like, it's not on the door. It's off the door. Like it was almost like when I had the door open, it was behind the door, and when I shut it, that's when it was there. It was weird. I can't explain it, but there's some few things that we've caught on XLS that I can't explain it. I mean, there's figures, it looks like someone walking, like a head, like following one of the investigators, and then a face manifests out of nowhere, like not a face, but some kind of energy. It's like all of a sudden the XLS starts mapping something there it's glowing, and it's there, almost like a face is looking at the camera, and it's gone. I'm like, what the hell was that? I don't know what it is. I can't explain that. I've never seen that before. You know what I mean? Like something appearing from nothing, disappearing into nothing, so I can't explain it.
Following stuff like that, it's like, when you can't explain something and you try to, and then you're like, maybe there's something here. I don't like saying everything's haunted right away. I would have to get, go there a couple of times, or if something really significantly really does happen, I was like, there's some activity here, Yeah,
I never go into a place thinking it's haunted. You can't do that. If you do, you're just pumping yourself up. Every little noise. Oh man, did you hear that? Oh man, you're just pumping yourself up. You think the place is haunted. You know what I mean? Like you got to go into it with your own mindset of, hey, this stuff happened to me before I can say something's paranormal. I need to experience it. I need to record it and have real validation that this stuff really happened. That's the most important thing, man. I mean, you have to validate it. A lot of people don't take the time to validate what they're experiencing. You know what I mean? Like they'll have a recorder, and maybe it's another investigator on another floor, but you're not checking other things to make sure it's not that investigator. You know what I mean? You got to have multiple recording devices out, cross-checking everything. You could have an investigator outside saying something, and it sounds like a whisper inside the house, and really it's them. So the more recorders you have out static-wise, the more you can validate your experiences of paranormal.
That's why I like my camera the best, my night vision cameras. Go out all over the place. Now you hear a whisper, and that has happened in the past with me. You're doing, you're doing so many hours of a review, and then all of a sudden you come across something like, there's something. Oh, this is cool, And then all of a sudden, and now you got the camera. I got some. Okay, I hear somebody talk. I hear something, and then all of a sudden the camera. Like I said, I had a case. It was a private home also. And I'm like, okay, I got something. And I'm looking at my camera. But then I'm like looking back, and I'm playing forward. It was one of the people there leaned over and just like said something. I couldn't hear what it said,
Yep.
but they said something, and it was like that was it, the whisper. And of course it gets debunked, but then you're like, because you get all excited. As soon as you hear something, you get jump around like, hey,
That's just like when you're investigating a place and something happens and you want to investigate, you go, oh my God. They'll whisper, and I'm like, why are you whispering? You don't need to whisper, dude. They're gonna hear you no matter what. Just talk normal. But they'll be, oh my God, you hear that? But then they might think that they called an EVP because they said that. You know what I mean? Like, nah, dude. Talk normal. Yeah. Don't whisper. You don't need to do any of that. Yeah, just talk normal, man. You don't have to whisper or anything because it doesn't matter if you're talking. A lot of times you get EVPs just talking like this, like me and you were talking. And a voice will cut right in while you're talking. That way. Yeah, like they use your reverberal noises they use it to talk.
They just want to be part of the conversation.
Yeah. You just be talking, me and you'll be talking. Next thing you know, you hear or something like that. He was like, damn, I didn't even hear that.
It's Shanley that happened. I forgot who I was with there. We're talking, and I was just regular talking, and then I was, I did a review, and somebody said a joke or something, and you heard a laugh, disembodied laugh in the background, like, oh, they must have liked that joke.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing that the stuff that they can do, and they harness this energy and this reverberal noises and things like that. Like just using just doing this, rubbing your mic or something. They can use that to create a voice. You know what I mean? Which is amazing how they do it, but it's pretty amazing. Yeah. I like electronic voice phenomena the best of everything. I do like catching stuff on video, but I enjoy doing EVP. Like I do live EVP the whole night. Like I stay plugged in all night. And because I can't hear out of my left ear. I was telling Ron and them, I said, I can't hear anything out of my left ear. But when I put these on, it's like I have hearing in both ears. It's weird. Like I don't even realize that I can't hear out of this ear. It's like right now, it sounds like I can hear out of both ears, but I really can't. I can only hear out of this one. It's really weird.
Yeah,
it's really weird.
When you're missing I'm blind to one eye, so that anytime you're missing a part of your body, it enhances your sight. It enhances your other abilities.
Yeah. So it increases your hearing and stuff.
Increases you might hear better with that ear or with the other ear, or it just enhances everything. And especially, I know I'm sensitive, so it enhances my ability to see things also. Ever since I went blind, it helped me out more going blind in one eye than but it enhances.
And you got the other things,
so I'm sure
I enjoy coming on the podcast and different podcasts and talking to like-minded people. It's good to get other aspects of what other people do when they investigate. You learn a lot from other people too. You learn the mistakes that you make and the mistakes they make, and God knows, man, I've made a shit ton of mistakes over the years. I'm not the greatest thing.
That's how you learn.
Yeah, I've done a lot of dumb shit when I first started doing this, like provoking things, and I had no idea what I was.
What are you doing? I'll go.
Yeah, I had no idea. Yeah, I learned
see how I investigate nowadays. It's so I go in and I just very calm, and something happens. I don't jump up. I react to it, but not like everybody else. Like it's you have to go in, and you go in with a positive attitude, and you get more evidence.
Yeah.
It seems to come more to you.
I mean, I haven't worked with a whole lot of people in the field over the years. I've kind of stayed to myself, but now that I'm out and doing the paracons and things like that, it's nice to see other people and see how they're doing things, and you learn a lot from other people and different things. And I've just been doing my own thing for a lot of years and never really. I was on the ParaX network way back in the day when ParaX was around. I don't even know if they're still around anymore, but they were. That was just like an internet radio station, I guess. You know what I mean? Like when it first came out.
Yeah,
but it was just.
I used to go on. One of the guys I knew had a podcast on those. Chuck Sanders.
Yeah, I know Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck. I'm friends with him. He had me on so many times, and it was just radio. It was like no picture. It was just
audio. Yep.
Yeah, just the audio, and that was it. But what was his name? So something. So searching souls, something, whatever it was.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, he was. He was on ParaX, I believe. Yeah. I remember that. That's going back. Yeah, I think the next year the bash is at the Eisenhower, so that's a lot bigger place. That place is huge.
Got my room already.
Same.
They sold out. They selling out.
I got mine. Yep, I got my room, so I'm ready to go.
It'll at least be the three of us.
Yeah. It's gonna be big. Yeah, it's gonna be big. I'll tell you what, I think that place will hold about 180 vendors in there.
Yeah, I've been doing the Gettysburg Paracon since like the second or third one. I think I started going with them.
Okay, I used to go there when it was Phenomenology. They used to hold it at the Eisenhower, which there's a haunted farmhouse right there too. You can investigate right there at the Eisenhower. There's a haunted farmhouse for the Hoffman farmhouse is right there.
Oh, okay. Somebody invited us there this year. Somebody invited me to go there this year.
Yeah, it's right there. It's right there at the hotel. So I'm sure Pam will have something set up where you can go in there and investigate that place. It's pretty cool. It's active.
I go to those things. I stay at the hotel because I just want to drink. Hang out.
I wanted to last year, but I had to drive back and forth. So I was like, next year I'm just staying at the hotel. So yeah, that's a cool event.
Yeah, that's a great event. It really is. You going to MassCon? Are you going to be at the MassCon this year too? Massachusetts, America?
No, not this year. No. I think the Hell House Paracon was our last one for the year.
Yeah. I've been doing a little more Paracons now than than ever. I retired, so I got time.
Yeah. This is our first year kind of getting into the Paracons. At least I used to do them way back in the day, but I enjoy doing them now. You meet a lot of cool people, a lot of people I haven't seen in a long time too. So it was fun. I enjoyed the bash. It was nice.
Yeah.
The Hell House Paracon wasn't too bad. It just was hot as hell. That was it. It was hot, man.
It certainly was.
We were inside. I was giving out people our postcards. I said, "Here, have a Haps fan." They were using the postcard. It was hot as hell. I said, use it as a fan. I don't care.
Oh, next year you know better. You just get one of those handheld fans.
Yeah. It was.
Get one of those hats with the fan on it.
They could be pulled out of lemonade.
Yeah, well, they did have a lot of vendors there, like food vendors and stuff. So that wasn't too bad. They had a couple of food trucks and you get cold drinks and stuff like that. But it was.
I missed that the lemonade stand. I guess they had like a caprese salad with tortellinis, and then I was mad that I saw that because it was cold. And I didn't get that. And that's what I should have gotten instead of the chicken fingers with fries. I was like so hot. I just wanted something cold.
Yeah, it was hot. That sun came out. It got really hot. I was like, man, it was baking inside there. I can imagine how it was out in the tents.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Oh, Marianne is asking you going to, or you said you just said you're not. Does the New Jersey Para-Unity Paracon. That's November.
That's November 3rd. Yeah, I have an investigation at Fort Mifflin November 3rd. we're doing a public.
I've never been to Fort Mifflin yet.
Oh, Fort Mifflin's awesome, man.
Down there.
You gotta go there, man. We're having a public investigation this year. Our first one we did, we sold out of it already. There's like going to be like 30 people with us.
Wow.
So, yeah, we sold out a while ago. I was like, wow. And more people wanted to sign up at the Hell House Paracon. So they topped it off there. I was like, wow.
You're just going to have to make another date.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was like, you're going to have fun. Like, this place is really cool. I said, don't get, I try and let people know. I was like, don't think, ghosts are going to fall out of the ceiling and things like that. I'm like, you might be quiet all night. You might have a few personal things that happen, but when you go back into your recordings and stuff, you're going to catch a lot of stuff because that's how it is at Fort Mifflin. You'll leave static recorders laying around and you'll leave out and you'll hear your name called or something. Hey, John. I've had a lot of cool stuff happen at Fort Mifflin. That place is really awesome.
I hear there. The people sleep overnight in the bunk beds over there, or the
yep, in the soldiers' quarters. Yeah, that place. I've heard the screaming lady there quite a few times. We recorded her once, really loud. We heard it. I mean, a plane. Actually, we played it on EVP, their podcast, and Ron really liked that EVP. Yeah, it was a disembodied voice.
That's where Tony said something. That's when I started realizing something. Also, I've been doing it such a long time. I'm always learning something new. But what he said was, and the plane going by gave it the white noise.
Yep.
For the voice to manifest. And that was to me, that was, something. Then, I mean, the rain, anything that has any sort of white noise,
yep.
You don't be able to hear voices. They could come through. Rain, any kind of static or anything that's, anything to consider was white noise.
Yeah. What works really well too is water.
Yes.
I was telling Ron and Chris, I was like, sound travels through water really fast. So I've been using hydrophones to record sounds in water. I have a case that I've currently been doing for a couple of years too, up in Klingerstown. And they have a freshwater spring that runs through the house. And that water generates disembodied voices in the basement like you've never heard. I mean, you hear them so clear. And I that's where I got the idea is like, these things are probably using this water. These voices are traveling through this water. You know what I mean? And I started using a hydrophone and that thing works. The sound, you do record EVPs through water. It happens. Yeah, it's cool. I'm still doing more experiments on it, but it's working. It's working.
I mean, but then I remember you back in the 70s. You had the bongs. That was good white noise.
Yeah.
We used to put wine in it too. Does that work with wine too?
Yeah, it should.
Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
To make your own white noise. Bring that to investigation.
I definitely know what you're talking about. Oh my God.
Oh goodness. Not that I really know. I heard about it.
Yeah, sure. I heard about it. Oh man.
I know somebody made one with a fish tank, so
it always goes there.
You know what was cool one time too is you're talking about a fish tank. I was doing a case and they had a fish tank and it had a big water filter system where the water you hear the water going. And man, I caught EVPs that sounded like that's where I started getting the idea way back then that these things can use the water because I captured a voice and it sounded like someone was talking into a bong. It was like, I swear to God, it sounded like there was a voice that said, get out. And it sounded like it was talking into like a bong. It was like, it was like, you could hear it in the water. It was really cool. I was like,
So they were like
Wow.
talking underwater then.
like they were using the water as these sound waves to talk. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's interesting. That's cool.
Yeah. It's wild. It's just the stuff that they can do and harness to create voices and move things and just static energy, and it's well beyond what we can comprehend. Well beyond what we can comprehend. Um, I think the thing that Ron's doing with the static com is really interesting. I've never seen that before, which is it's different, and he's getting a lot of really cool, intelligent responses on that, which is a good connection. It's a good connection to what we've all been trying to do for a lot of years. So that's an interesting piece of equipment he's using. I really like that. Really like it.
Yeah, it's. I keep on telling him, and him and Lourdes and them, they're getting. I mean, if they got this close this year, I can imagine what they're going to get to by next year. Unbelievable how they got. It's like a phone now. It's coming out so damn clear.
It's a good tool. I really like it. I've been listening to some of the stuff that he's put out, and I'm like, pretty awesome, man. Pretty awesome. A lot of
listen to
intelligent
some of the
responses.
newest stuff that just came out. I don't know if you heard any of the newest stuff, but
I've heard a little bit. Yeah, I've heard a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really great.
Ron said that was I who said that the plane noise aided the vocal, but Tony and Lourdes were going to say it. I mentioned the Doppler effect and how it had started before it was detectable as it trailed. Yep. And Ron said, "Thank you, Mr. Curley," and dots. That would be dimensions of the supernatural. Someone asked, John, have you investigated White Hill Mansion?
No, I've never investigated it. Nope.
No.
Oh, White Hill, nice place. That you should check out. White Hill, I've been there quite a few times. It's a great mansion, it really is. It predates the United States for 50 years.
Oh wow!
Predates it, and
they
just built more buildings onto the original building. I mean, it goes back when the Revolutionary War. The German soldiers, well, they're the ones that took over that. And they were living on. They had that land before they went through the battles and stuff. It was really something. You check that. That's a good place to check out. Since that's in Jersey.
Yeah, I mean, I've investigated a few big places, but most of my cases have all been residential. So that's all I've kind of focused on in the last 20 some years. I mean, I'd go to those places for fun researching, you know what I mean? Doing research with them. The sucky part is that, I like to keep getting in places and keep researching these places, and it's hard to keep getting into the same place over and over and over again. Even if you have a residential case, it's hard to keep getting in there because you're invading their family time and their social life. Right. And I really want a place of my own where I can just go in and really, really research it as much as possible, try to come up with answers. And I had a place like that for a few years, but like I said, it got sold. So I lost it, and it sucks because I really like getting into the nitty gritty of the research of it and trying to figure out why that happened. Okay, that door opened. What made that door open? Let's go over here and see what made that voice happen. How, there's so many answers. I mean, there's so many questions and not enough answers. You know what I mean? Like, we're trying to figure this stuff out, and it's just more questions than answers. We do know they use these static waves, these sound waves, and manipulate energy and things like that, but we don't know to the extent of how they use it. That's the bad part. Like, I've talked to people like
how they communicate with us.
Yeah, I've talked to people like Dr. Barry Taft, like one of the most famous parapsychologists in paranormal history. So it's kind of like one of the founding fathers of paranormal research. And a lot of the stuff that he's told me over the years, it's really cool. You know what I mean? Like, he's talking about people that are seizure prone. They create paranormal phenomena. It's not like they're in a house and the house is haunted. It's not the house, it's the person, and a lot of these people are like seizure prone, epileptic, and this epilepsy is throwing off these high magnitudes of energy in the brain, which is now creating this psychokinetic energy paranormal phenomena. You know what I mean? And then if you get these kind of people in a house that is active, the activity is even worse. It's like it's like a paranormal bomb in there, and
that's why the God helmet is more like an EEG machine.
Yeah.
Because it almost like reads the waves of your brain.
Yeah, just like CERN, they're doing this thing in CERN with CERN and things like that. Like this stuff is really dangerous that they're messing with. CERN is really dangerous, and I'm not, I don't know if a lot of people really are understanding what they're doing, but what they're doing can create some serious repercussions to the earth and us. They can almost create like a black hole. Yeah, they can almost create like a black hole. So these things are dangerous, but they're doing them.
It's fascinating to them. They don't care.
Yeah, until something bad happens, and then it's the people out here, that the citizens and people of the world, that gotta deal with this mess. So there it is. There's a lot of weird things out here we don't understand, but there's people out here that they're testing the waters with it, and yeah, you test the waters. Sometimes there's sharks in the waters. So you gotta be careful. You know what I mean?
And sometimes those sharks are the prettiest ones with bows on their heads.
Sometimes.
I say it like it is. I'm sorry.
It's like the paranormal, I call them paranormal thrill seekers, the ones that they just pay to go to all these places. They're like paranormal thrill seekers, right?
It's like the X Games for the paranormal.
Yeah. And I'm like, it's all fun and games till you go into one of these places and something gets attached to you and goes home. Now you got this thing in your house. You might never get rid of it. You know what I mean? Right. It could be with you for the rest of your life, causing turmoil in your home. You're going to be scared all the time, and everywhere you move, it's going to be following you. This is the risk you take. This is the risk that we all take doing this.
Yeah,
it's the risk that we take. But if you're going to you're going to be a paranormal thrill seeker.
It's funny. I had a guy on my team, and he was on my team for 2 years, and I'm a paranormal investigator. As soon as he actually seen something, I didn't see him no more. He disappeared. It was like, what happened to this guy? Where is he? And he bought thousands and thousands of dollars worth of equipment. He had to have the best. Every time he sees something on one of the shows, he had to have it. And he had bought thousands. All of a sudden, he's seen his spirit. We're in Gettysburg. It was a private resident. And all of a sudden, a spirit, he's seen a little girl standing in the corner. And all our stuff was going off. We had the doing with the flashlights, 3 flashlights.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we do flashlights, we do 3 different colors. And we had red, blue, and black. And that's what we used to tell. Turn on the red one, turn on the blue one, turn on the, and it was going off. All of a sudden, this guy, he seen a spirit in the corner. All of a sudden, he ran out. And they were like, what happened to him? And we thought he got sick or something. They went, he was in front of the building. He must smoke like 15 packs of cigarettes. One after another. He was so scared. He went home, and I didn't see him since.
So wait, do you think it's because it was a child, or do you think it was because it was an apparition?
Because apparition.
So not just because a lot of times people are terrified because it's children. Because they're creepy. Little kids are creepy.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, if I see a little kid on an investigation crawling across the floor with his head spinning, yeah.
Is it worse when it's on the wall? Because it's worse when it's on the wall.
I mean, on the wall, it doesn't bother me. Ceiling, I think the floor bothers me more because he's getting closer to you. Well,
it depends. I mean, if it's on the wall and it's getting closer, then it's on the wall. Or when it's like, la, 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 that's weird.
Yeah, that's creepy. That's creepy. I had a friend, he lives in a haunted house, and he has 3 kids, but they're all grown now, but they tell me stories of some of the stuff they've seen in the house. He won't let me investigate it, but the oldest son told me that he said they were in the basement one time, and they have a big picture going down the hallway, and as they're walking down the hallway, he can see something in the picture. It's this black thing like hugging the wall, and it's almost like trying to hide from him, but it's hugging the wall, and then it goes up to the ceiling, and he's like, dude, he goes, I didn't want to turn around, but I can see it. He thought it was, he said the thing thought it was hiding from us, but I could see it in the reflection of the picture.
No.
Yeah. I was like, that's creepy as shit. He's like, yeah, man. He said it was creepy, man. He said it was like hugging the wall, and then it went shoot, it like went up to the ceiling. And I'm like, oh wow. He goes, dude, it was creepy. It was this black thing. He said it was weird. But they
That's a
experience all
big
kinds
no
of
for me.
phenomena.
I'm sorry. Nothing scares me. I will go sit in a basement in the dark by myself after something's like told me that it's going to kill me. I don't care. That creeps me out. That and little kids like laughing or, you know, that sing-songy stuff. No, that isn't anything crawling on a ceiling, or they're like their elbows twist the opposite direction and they're skittering over there. Like, no.
The crab walk.
Yeah. No. Downstairs, like upside down. No.
Okay, Maureen. What about the picture from the Amityville with that kid kind of peering out behind the banister that the Warrens took?
That's
creepy, right?
That is creepy. But that's cool.
Especially with like the mirror eyes.
Yeah, the eyes are like glowing. That's creepy.
Do you think that's
they were trying to say that they try to say that was fake, but that's not fake.
You don't think it's fake?
No, I don't think that's fake.
I don't think it's fake. No, it doesn't look like it's fake to me. Just because it's behind the banister, you know.
Back then it was a little different than now.
Yeah, it was harder back then.
Back then it was a little harder to fake a picture like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you double expose things back then.
I was hoping you were gonna say yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that picture was faked at all.
I don't think so either.
I just think it was too hard back then with the technology to fake anything like that.
So do you guys think that the whole story was like kind of bogus, but that part was real? Like, do you think that there are parts that are not real?
Well, the Amityville?
Yeah, I think the event really happened. I think it really happened.
The whole thing?
Yeah, I think the whole thing happened. It's some people can move into a house and nothing happened, but then there's a certain individual that can move into a house and the shit goes haywire. You know what I mean? It's like they're the CD to the CD player. You know what I mean? The house.
Yeah, so I agree with that.
There. Yeah, there's something there, and then when that person moves in, their connection to the house is just like an explosion in paranormal phenomena, and then the shit happens. And I think that's where it was with that family. It might have been multiple people that had this kind of connection to that whatever was there, and this boom, there it is, it's happening. Then someone else might move in, nothing happens.
The movie made it into a movie, and so I actually spoke. I know the one son from there. I met him a couple of times.
Danny?
Chris?
The
younger one? Yeah.
Oh, the younger one. Okay. I know Danny doesn't really talk to anybody, I don't think.
Yeah.
I'm surprised anybody talks at all.
He said that the place, there was activity going on there, but they actually made it they show them when they're going up the stairs, their feet are going like through muddy steps and the bleeding walls, and that's movie.
Yeah.
That was all movie, but they did have activity that scared the crap out of them. But a lot of the stuff was, the movie. It was a movie. They actually made it into a movie.
Yeah, I mean, they have to dramatize it a little bit, but like I understand that the son was.
I just want to let you know, Facebook user, that's Marianne Rockland. Marianne, the one I can't say her last name. That's always watching us. Sorry, Marianne.
Hi, Marianne.
Rockleman. So,
I understand that it has to be dramatized a little bit, and I understand that the son had either like mental illness mixed with alcohol and drugs and whatever. And but
that's the first family there. That's the default family.
Yeah.
And they, I don't know if it was that
they had ties with other people too,
Yeah.
There was
tied
a
into the
whole
mafia, right?
Oh, yeah.
And didn't he have like one of the sisters help, and that's why it wasn't her, or like there was something? But I do believe, like you said, John, that there, either there was like an attachment or there was like negativity, and he had something happen, and it might have been some kind of stuff on the property that also mixed in, and there was a lot there. And then maybe the next family didn't feel anything, and whatever. But
yeah.
Well, the first family's the foe with the murders. The second family of the Lutzes, they're the one that made the book off.
Yeah.
And then now the families that have been there, they're not saying any if there's any activity or anything, they're not talking about it.
Yeah. And I do also believe in perception and intention as well. You perceive there's nothing there, you don't have any intentions to do anything with ill will, then nothing happens.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like you go into a place, right, and you're not expecting something to happen, and it doesn't happen. But if you pay attention to it, that's when you start to experience phenomena. When you really start noticing that the phenomena is happening, then you start noticing, hey, things start to happen more and more and more. I've noticed that in a lot of cases, like it's happened in my own house. Like I'll hear noises, and if I address the noises, then I start hearing more noises and like knocking on the wall or knocking on the door. If I ignore it, then I don't really notice it. You know what I mean? But if you really pay attention to it, you know there's something there,
Yeah.
For sure. It's there. You just have to pay attention to it. Once they know you're paying attention to it, that's when it starts to really escalate. That's when it starts escalating.
Uh-huh. That's how it usually is. Once you show them some sort of like let them know that you see them or anything, that's when they started coming all the time and a lot more. And
what's crazy now is the shows, right? So everybody watches the ghost shows. So if they move into a house that's having some kind of activity, right away they start to try to create this. They're trying to establish this line of communication, whatever's in the house, which is probably a bad thing for them. But they're trying to establish a line of communication. Is there something here? Then when shit starts happening, then they're like freaked out. Oh my God, the house is haunted. This thing's happening. Yeah. Well, you're opening yourself up to a line of communication to something you're not understanding. So now you've opened this line of communication up. Now it's like a radio coming in with all the music. You know what I mean? Here it is.
Yeah, I brought that up in the chat. I said that it could be that there was like nothing, and someone could have, sparked something up, and it could have created a tulpa or an egregore or, something, and there was nothing there to begin with.
Yeah.
Sometimes spirits, I know, and I tell people, they go, yeah, I got stuff going on in my house all the time. And I said, do they hurt you? No. What do they do? They move stuff, they make noises, and do they wake you? Do they do anything? No. Leave them alone. Just tell them, okay, we both got to be here. We share the house, and you do what you got to do, just let them feel like the house, you guys got to share the house. Because if you're going to go in and go and try to get them out, and they're not doing nothing, that's when you're going to start, like you said, bring the activity to a different level. Now it's like they're quiet. Now you're gonna try to push me out. Now we're gonna fight back, and you're making that spirit that's not really there to hurt you or nothing, just to let you know that it's there. Now it's just gonna bring up the activity.
Yeah,
and that happens a lot. I've seen that happen a lot. People. Especially people that knew people in the paranormal field that buy K2 and knows when they're an investigator, and I'm going to do that guy's house. And next thing you know, they're just amping up more activity in that place because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Or they'll buy a spirit box and they're using a spirit box and they're because they've seen it on Ghost Adventures or they've seen it on this show or that show.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they'll buy Ouija boards and they'll start doing all kinds of stuff, opening up these lines of communication. And then when they do it and shit starts to go haywire, then they're like, "Oh my god, like what do we do now? What are you going to do?" You know what I mean? You're going to call people like us, and then we're going to come in and try to help you if we can help you. You know what I mean? If you've done something that's created a huge problem, now you might be stuck with this problem. You know what I mean? Like this isn't something that you can just blow some fairy dust on and it's going to go away. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, here you go. It's all gone.
See,
No, it doesn't work like that.
See, I don't care if people use Ouija boards; they know what they're doing. But a lot of investigations I've done at private homes, always somebody did a Ouija board in the past, and they always did and I'm like, I'm not saying just the Ouija board. It's the Ouija board is a tool.
It's a divination, just like tarot cards or pendulums or joust rods or whatever. It's how they use them.
But you got people that go there and they go, my mother used to do that with her friend, and these women drinking the wine and getting the Ouija board out and go, "Am I going to meet a man? Am I going to?" And next thing you know, there's activity going on in the house. I'm like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You have to close it. What do you mean close it? It's just a game.
No, it's not.
No,
it's like a telephone. It's a telephone. You have to say goodbye to your friend Rosalie, or she's going to keep talking to the neighbor next door and tell the gossip. You have to say goodbye.
Yeah. You're opening up a huge line of communication with something you really don't understand. You know, and a lot of people don't understand that. You know, they're like the thrill seekers. That's why I call them paranormal thrill seekers. They pay to go to all these places, and I'm like, you're opening yourself up to something you really don't understand. I said, it's cool to go to these places and experience a paranormal event, but in the same token, something might get a nice attraction to you and follow your ass home. And then what are you going to do then?
Yeah. So like talking about this stuff is like the normal stuff. And then using forms of divination or ghost hunting. And I hate using that word. It's like
I'm not a ghost hunter.
Bambi or something, but like that's like extreme sports. It's like
I'm hunting ghosts.
It's like wakeboarding or snowboarding in a tube park when you've never done it before. So they're like two totally different things. Don't go tubing or wakeboarding if you've never done it before and expect to not break your ass.
Yeah.
Stay off the Ouija board if you've never done anything with divination before. Like, do something with someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's my piece.
I like when people come up to me and they say, "Oh, you do? I'd like to go with you sometime. I'd like to check it out." I'm like, yeah. I know. I'm thinking about guys. People watch a baseball team on TV. Do you walk up to those guys on the baseball team? "Oh, I like this sport. Can I play a game with you sometime?"
When they're pro.
Exactly.
You know, it doesn't work that way. I don't mind taking you with me, but there's no crying in paranormal. You can't go running out. If you're going to hear something, you're going towards it, not the opposite way.
Yeah.
And I try. There's no running. I said, if you're running out, you're running into the dark by yourself because I'm not following you.
Yeah.
You don't understand. We're there, my team or whoever we go with, going to the spirit. I love when people, "Oh yeah, I'll go with you sometime. I'll bring my girlfriends and we could make a night of it." What? No.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'll let you know on next one I'm going on.
Wait, are they making you a night of it or the place a night of it?
Well, most of the ones that want to go are not something I want to make a night of it.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I'm surprised at how many people that are really, really into ghosts and things now. Like when I was a kid, no one was ever into ghosts. Like you never even heard of shit like that. But now,
no, you'd be a weirdo.
Man, like it's a lot of women that really love the paranormal now, which is surprising. Yeah. And I'm
because
wow.
women are very intuitive.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I see the amount of women that are involved in the paranormal field. It's a lot. It's probably more than men, to be honest.
It used to be all men.
There was a lot of women
men at one time.
You don't ever hear it's a man's intuition. You hear it's mother's intuition or it's women's intuition.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. It surprises me. I'm like, wow, this is like, but women are braver than men. I think they endure a lot more than men. You know, they get to childbirth and everything else. So,
you know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
exactly.
So we do go through a lot.
I had kidney stones, and I can tell you what, that was pretty painful. And the doctor goes, "Well, that's kind of what labor pains feel like,
isn't it?"
I'm like, dude, if that's what labor feels like, I'm glad I'm not a woman.
Oh no, it's worse. It's worse.
I was like, oh my God. He goes, you just got a little taste of pain. I'm like, that wasn't a little taste. That was a lot. That hurt.
They're wicked, especially when you pass them yourself. They're bad.
Oh, mine got stuck. I almost died. Yeah, mine got stuck in my kidneys, and my kidneys got infected. It was terrible. I stayed a week in the hospital. Yeah, it was bad. I was like, wow, that was the worst pain I've ever experienced. I'm like, I thought I could handle pain, but that was the extreme, you know.
They're terrible.
Yeah.
So what would you like to tell everyone before we leave for the evening? What do you have coming up, or what do you want to, what do you want? What's your shameless plug that we can give you?
Yeah. What are you doing? Anything showing, or want to share anything? Your websites, anything?
Yeah. We're doing an event in Fort Mifflin, November 3rd, which is sold out, but if some people want to come, we're not going to turn anybody away if they want to have fun.
Fort Mifflin's in Philadelphia, just in case people don't know.
At Fort Mifflin's in Philadelphia. It's the fort that saved America. That fort saved America. So
it had nothing to do with the men. So where can they buy tickets, or where can they find, what is your website?
Yeah, you can go to my website at www.harrisburgareaparanormal.com, and there's a link in there where you can click onto and get tickets that way. It takes you right to our case manager, Tom. Email him, he'll send you all the information and ticket prices and all that, but we won't turn anybody away if they want to go. And like I said, it's a go at your own risk. Like I said, things can happen. Something follows you home. I'm not responsible for it. So just beware that there are these things out here that could draw some attention to you. So, and we do have a Facebook page. I have my own podcast, the Paranormal Journal podcast. If you guys want to check me out over there, everything I tell you is the truth. I'm not going to lie to you about anything. Everything that I tell you is either experiences that I've had or experiences, from my clients and things like that. If they want to come on and talk about their paranormal events that's happening in their home, I bring them on. Have guests like I want to have you on, Anthony or Maureen, like to have you on.
I'd love that.
I'm gonna have Ron and Lordy's on probably, and Chris, and I'm gonna have a whole bunch of. I'm just getting started on StreamYard, so it's new for me, but I've always done audio.
Great guests. So. They're great guests. We have them on several times.
Yeah, and I can't wait to work with more people like yourselves and getting into this paranormal field deeper with other people, like-minded people. So
thank you. You're always welcome here.
Yeah, likewise. But I definitely want to start working with more people to grow this thing into something that we can understand, for other people to understand as well. So thank you for having me on your podcast. I really enjoyed it.
With what you're doing, you can always call us as well.
Awesome. Yeah, and me likewise. You need help, I'm always available.
I only been doing it for a couple of years, 47.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, I just started.
That's all I've been alive.
Sometimes I tell people that I was like, they go, and how long you been doing it? It's like, before you were born. It's like, you were just a drip down your father's leg when I started.
Just some brown stain on the sheet, right?
He's so classy, isn't
Something
he?
being
This is why
flushed.
we get along so well. Good night, everybody. I'm done.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
We thank you so much, John. It was
Thanks
a
for being
pleasure.
here.
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely. I had fun.
It was great meeting you in Gettysburg.
Yeah. I can't wait to go back, and we definitely all got to do something together. Yeah. I didn't know you were at Hell House, Maureen. I would have said hi to you. I had no idea.
I didn't see you at all. Which is
I was in the building most of the time. I didn't go out to all the vendors. I think I only went out maybe one time. That was it. But I didn't even see you. Where was your table set up?
I didn't have a table. I was actually a guest. I walked around. I talked to Connie and David and Sam and all of my buddies there. I went and talked to Bobby Gallo a little bit, and then I went and listened to Connie for a little while. I listened to the readings there. I had a great reading.
Nice.
My godfather came out for the very first time, which was amazing because I couldn't wait to hear from him. And let's see. We got to listen to a couple of speakers, and we went back and listened to David and Connie speak for a little while. And then we sat in that little fire pit area in the blazing sun. And
oh wow.
We walked through the house a couple times because it was much cooler inside actually than it was outside. And then we held on to the tent when Gettysburg Part 2 happened. we helped take the tents down.
Yeah. One of our signs got destroyed there. I wound up leaving. I left and Tom was still there, but one of our banners got destroyed. So
I'm sorry.
I was like, oh well. Yeah, I was like, oh well, it is what it is.
Yeah, as soon as that happened, we helped take the tents down, put the chairs up, and then we decided we were going to go to PJ Wellhan's for dinner. We had some beers, and then we came home. It was a wicked storm.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I
had
it on the way home.
Right across from you, Seekers Club of the Paranormal. I was right next to Kayla, and then on the other side, me, John, not John.
Dan Class.
Brian. Not Brian. I'm kidding. Oh my God.
It was Dan Class.
Dan Class was on the other side of me.
To the right.
And Kayla was on my something like that. Yeah. I was on that row there.
In the bash.
In the bash, yeah.
Yeah, you were right across from us. Yeah.
Yeah, you were just like down because I came over and I talked to you.
Yeah, yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was fun, man. I can't wait. I think next year we'll be speaking at that at the bash. I think we'll be doing a lecture there, so which is cool because I like getting out there and telling people the truth about things and educating them and showing them some of the cool evidence we've caught. We've caught some really cool stuff. So
I like hearing different people's perspectives and hearing what different people had to say, and it's nice to hear from different people. Not the same over and over and over and over again.
Yeah. I like hearing other people's stories, but I don't like people that are full of shit. That drives me crazy. That drives me crazy.
I love when people come up to you
right there. Yeah, people that are full of shit, they're not gonna like me. I can tell you that right now.
I like you already.
I don't like people that are full of shit. If you're honest and you're truthful about everything, I'm gonna love you. But if you're full of shit, I'm not gonna like you too much, and you might not like me. So
no, I like that.
Yeah.
And if you get a chance, if Ron and Lourdes are there with their Staticom,
oh yeah.
Oh, you never heard that stuff yet?
No, I haven't been in person and heard it, but I want to do something with everybody, with EVP. I want to do all those guys, and with Lourdes and Ron and Chris and everybody, Tony and stuff. I definitely want to do it.
It's really cool. It's amazing.
Do some kind of case with them. I do have some places that I can go to that I've been investigating for years. So, and
the whole team is great people. I mean, I got the chance when Tony Cherie came in. I was with them and with Ryan Lourdes, and we did investigation. And then Chris invited us down to Trans Allegheny. I did Trans Allegheny with Chris and Audra. So I got a chance to work with everybody on that team, which was nice. And they're all good people. All good people.
Yeah, they are. They're very nice people. Yeah, it was cool to meet Chris and Ron and Lourdes and Sheree at the up there. It was great.
Yeah, all of them are wonderful people.
Oh yeah. Just fun times we're gonna all have. So
we got somebody else coming on after us. So anything else you have to share with anybody? Anything else you want to share before we have to leave? Or you all shared out?
Is this when you
batch next year? If you guys want to come out? Yeah. Just I don't want to cuss anybody out, but you're full of shit. Don't come near me.
Well, we'll keep in touch with you.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
And thank you for being with us. Again, you're welcome anytime.
Thank you. I enjoyed the podcast. It was great. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for being here with us. So, guys, Thursday nights, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Next week, we have the wickedly beautiful and talented Connie Koenig with us. You could check us out at any of the above in our comment section: A Little Witchy, BB3 TV, ERRT Radio, Dimensions of the Supernatural, Seekers Club. Am I missing something? I know I am missing something. The UGG Media, a replay on YouTube. There's lots of places. So check us out. And we love that you're here with us every single week in the comment section. This is Dimensions of the Supernatural. I am Maureen Grudzinski. We have John Curley with us. And as usual, my great co-host, Anthony Simonelli.
Hey, I just want to say, be safe out there. We want to look for ghosts. We don't want to be a ghost. You want to know something? Forget about it. Hey.
Peace out, guys.